Do you use WAR as in Web Application Archive to run your Java apps? Well, if you do, this episode is for you, and I'm going to run you through the process of running Java app inside of a Tomcat server on Azure Container Apps. I'll show you two ways to do this. First, we'll use the Azure portal. So here I am looking at Azure Container Apps portal, and from the overview page, we see there's a button for uploading artifacts. Let's click on that. And on this page, the portal is asking me where is my artifact file, and an artifact could be either a jar file or a WAR file. Okay, so let's browse to our WAR file. So here's my WAR file. And by the way, the project we're using for this demo is from the Spring Framework Pet Clinic project. Okay, here is the GitHub URL. And for this particular project, it runs on Tomcat and it requires Tomcat version 10. This is important because this is one of the parameters we're going to be setting on the build environment variable page. Okay. Now, if we look at our documentation, it says the default Tomcat version that comes with ACA Cloud build is Tomcat version 9. And in order for us to get our example to work, we need to override this value and set it to version 10. The way to set it is we can enter BP Tomcat version, and I can put 10 dot star here to indicate any minor versions of 10. And once we do that, this will override the Tomcat version to be version 10. And now the upload is in progress. Again, this will take several minutes to complete. And while this is going, let me show you the other way to do it, is from the Azure CLI. So from the Azure CLI, there's actually not much to it. It's just one simple command, AZ Container App up, and we'll give it to the path of my artifact file. And again, over here, this is how we're overriding the Tomcat version from the Azure CLI. And finally, we are going to open up port 8080 to be able to browse into it. Okay, so that's Azure CLI experience. This is the portal experience. The upload has now completed, and before we can browse to the app, there is actually one more step from the Azure portal. And let's head over to our ingress setting. Okay, and we have to set our target port to 8080. By default, this value is set to port 80, but I've already done this step previously, so it's already set to 8080. Once you've done that, we can head back to the overview page, and we can browse to our app. Now here is the Pet Clinic WAR application running on Tomcat in Azure Container Apps. And then related to Tomcat, I want to talk about building environment variables. We have a dedicated Azure documentation page that talks exclusively about those building environment variables. A couple things that I found useful, for instance, I've used the Maven built-in module to build the microservices version of Pet Clinic, where you have a parent POM as well as child POM. And this is where you have to use this flag to be able to build the project properly. And then below that, we have another section that talks about the configurations you can do in Tomcat. There are instances where you want to change the default behavior of Tomcat. For example, maybe you want to change the HTTP timeout of a Tomcat server. Right? And those type of configurations are typically done in a configuration file, server.xml, web.xml. And what you would do is you would package those configuration files together, upload them in a Git repository, and then your Tomcat server would consume those configuration files using the BP Tomcat extend config URI. All right, that's it for running Java web applications on Tomcat inside of Azure Container Apps. You can run your own war file on Azure Container Apps, following the step-by-step guide linked in the video description. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.